Pa ako. Girl. Ayun na. Ano, upo na muna tayo lahat kasi aakyat sila Doc Sibal. Dito ka, busy. Dito sila. Sige, yung kampasan. Dito ba, babe? Dito saan? Dito. Sa gitna. Dito pala.
আমি তোরে সব দিয়াছি, আমি তোরে সব দিয়াছি, তুই আমারে দিলি কি? তোর পিড়িতের আগুন বুকে জ্বলে দিকি দিকি রে বন্ধু, তোর পিড়িতের আগুন বুকে জ্বলে দিকি দিকি।
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting in another 5 minutes. So, I would request everyone to please settle down. We'll be starting in another 5 minutes.
मुझको गवारा ले क्या करूं तब निकलता नहीं है डाल दो अपने आंचल का टुकड़ा मेरी नीयत में जाकर मेरी नीयत में जाकर मुझको गवारा ले क्या करूं तब निकलता नहीं है डाल दो अपने आंचल का टुकड़ा मुझको गवारा ले क्या करूं तब निकलता नहीं है डाल दो अपने आंचल का टुकड़ा मेरी नीयत में जाकर मैयत पे चादर नहीं, मैयत पे चादर नहीं, मैयत पे चादर नहीं, मैयत पे चादर नहीं, मेरी मैयत पे चादर नहीं।
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly settle down. We are starting now. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed dignitaries, namaste. Good afternoon, mabuhay. On behalf of Apollo Hospitals India, I welcome every one of you. As Apollo Hospitals achieves the milestone of operating upon more than 100 kids from Philippines needing liver transplant, let all of us join today to celebrate the determination of parents, the spirit of humanity, the responsibility the governments undertook, the skill of medical experts, the sheer resolve of the Apollo hospitals. In fact, the social resolve to provide the second chance of life to these young kids. Apollo hospitals, in support from various stakeholders like the governments of Republic of India, the Philippines, NGOs and foundations in both the countries, and few very special individuals, has managed to achieve this milestone, which is a great achievement in itself. And yet, there is a long way to go. As you're already aware, that Apollo Hospitals happens to be one of the largest healthcare groups in Asia with more than 10,000 beds across 73 hospitals in India. We have undertaken the resolve to take the quality healthcare service to the farthest mile possible as a responsibility. With the busiest organ transplant program in the world, having done more than 4,000 liver transplants, it indeed is our moral obligation to provide the right treatment to these kids and many more who would need it in future. I wouldn't take a lot of time. I have to present a small introductory Apollo video to all of you. Can we have that video to be played now? Today, we are honored to have among us Dr. Professor Anupam Sibal, Group Medical Director and Senior Pediatrician at Apollo Hospitals Group. His Excellency, Mr. Ramon Bhagat Singh Jr., the Ambassador of the Philippines to India, he has sent a message online. And then the Indian ambassador to the Philippines, he will be joining us shortly. His Excellency, Mr. Ramon Bhagat Singh Jr., also known as Don Bhagat Singh, is a Filipino lawyer, politician, and diplomat who is the current ambassador of the Philippines to India and Nepal. He was previously a member of the House of Representatives of the Philippines from 1987 to 1998, representing the 4th District of Manila. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Ambassador Bhagat Singh was instrumental in repatriation of overseas Filipino workers stranded in the country. He also participated in talks to secure doses of Indian manufactured vaccines to the Philippines. May we play the message from His Excellency Mr. Ramon Bhagat Singh Jr.
The 100 plus liver transplants of pediatric patients from the Philippines marks an important milestone in strengthening relations between India and the Philippines. And I would like to congratulate the Apollo Hospitals Group, the embassies of India and the Philippines in working together efficiently to facilitate and ensure end-to-end care seamlessly. I am also grateful to the many individuals and NGOs in both countries who have come forward to support these kids needing timely treatment financially or for logistics. This indeed highlights the Indian culture of Vasudev Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one. I personally know Dr. Anupam Sibal, Group Medical Director and Senior Consultant, Pediatric Hepatology, and Dr. Nirab Goyal, Senior Consultant, Liver Transplant Surgery at Apollo Hospitals. The organ transplant program at Apollo Hospitals has become one of the busiest programs in the world under their able leadership and guidance. The medical and support team at Apollo is always dedicated to serve their patients right and leave no stone unturned for their care. I wish them the best so that they can continue to do the remarkable work of providing the patients all over the world a second chance at life. Foreign nationals choosing India for their surgical procedures indicates the commendable expertise and technology that Indian healthcare has to offer. This is also aligned with the government of India's initiative of Heal in India that promotes the Indian healthcare delivery on a global level. I congratulate the government of India and Apollo Hospitals for this initiative to spread the best of healthcare to the farthest mile.
Thank you so much, His Excellency Mr. Ramon Bhagat Singh Jr. Although you are not here, we are missing you, but your message means a lot to us. Now, as we all know, the kids are our future. There is no better joy than seeing them healthy, happy, and singing. This gives me immense joy to welcome Jermaine and the troupe of highly talented kids who have planned to enchant the audience by their singing skills. Please welcome Jermaine and the troupe. Let's have a big hand for them. Cheer up the kids.
it's true. So glad that I have you. You love me so. Now all is right. I'll always thank you for the glow and thank you for the joy. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm glowing inside because of you. Remember my growing years, they're filled with joy because you're there for me. You cast my fears away. You wiped those tears. You gave me strength each day. I thank you for the glow and thank you for the joy. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm glowing inside because of you. Who knows what tomorrow brings? My glowing wings can make me fly. I'll reach and now I'll touch the sky. Because of you, I'll soar up high. So I must thank you for the love I thank you for the joy. Thank you for the love you give to me. I'm glowing inside with your love shining through. Thank you for everything you do. I'm glowing inside because of you.
Wow, that was some amazing performance. Now we have the family of Mr. Jempisau who came to Apollo Hospitals for liver transplant of their kid, RC. They want to share their experience of how they identified Apollo Hospital and all what they underwent while their stay in India. So please welcome Mr. Jempisau.
To our distinguished guests, um, good afternoon. I'm Mr. Rani Hempesao, the father of Rai Kristen Hempesao, or Baby RC as we often call her. And also, I'm the liver donor of Baby RC. I'll be sharing with you our journey on how our child, Baby RC, was healed. I prepared 3 pages of, of my sharing today. Okay. I'll be sharing with you how this child has become to be like this lively child. Baby RC was born on April 8, 2017 as a healthy child and with no sign of sickness. After a month, we have noticed that she has a jaundice. Thinking that it was just a normal to a newborn child, we're not bothered about it. But on her second month, we were told by her doctor that baby RC has a liver problem. Not fully convinced, we brought her to another doctor that was then she was admitted at the hospital to have a series of laboratory tests to rule out her real ailment. Exactly on Father's Day that year, we were advised by her doctor that baby RC will be released from the hospital and her ailment can be cured by medications. We were happy then and immediately scheduled baby RC's baptism. But on July 29, when we came back to her doctor for her baby RC's follow-up checkup, we were astonished by the doctor's findings. The doctor told us that baby RC's condition has worsened and she has to undergo a liver biopsy. Then August 10, baby RC had a liver biopsy. And after 5 days, on August 15, we received the result of the liver biopsy. The histopathologic diagnosis was in favor of biliary atresia with edematous fibrosis and frequent nodularity indicative of beginning cirrhosis. On layman's term, baby RC has a chronic liver disease. The doctor told us only a liver transplantation will be the only cure to save our child's life. We need to prepare 5 billion pesos for the said procedure. And we also need around 30,000 pesos monthly for the follow-up maintenance checkup and medications. The doctor also told us that our child's life would only last up to 2 years if the liver transplantation will not be done. We were so disheartened that day, as if the world toppled on us. We don't know where we could get the large amount of money to save our child's life. I have a stable job, but it would be impossible to raise that amount for a year or two. I was thinking then to give up our child. We could not bear how she is suffering from her ailment. I was angry with God. I even questioned him why he let these things happen to us. But then I talked to him. I offered him everything and asked him to help us save our child's life. Suddenly, I had a clear mind and heart as if I heard him saying, I will take care of you and your child. Trust me. After that, I feel that God guided us. On August 19, we brought baby RC to another doctor. It was God's guidance. When the doctor saw baby RC, she already knew that RC has a liver problem. And when she saw the result of the liver biopsy, she confirmed with us that only a liver transplantation can save her. But the good news is, she told us that in India, the liver transplantation would cost only around 3 million. I already saved 2 million from that. She also told us, the doctor also told us that she had a patient who had a liver transplant in India a few months ago, and she could assist us to meet them. And when we came out of her clinic, lo and behold, the patient that the doctor was repairing was there. Mrs. Belista and her parents, Jonalyn and Jaime, her father and liver donor was there. We immediately talked to them and asked about the liver transplantation of their experience. And the last thing that Jonalyn told us is to attend a meeting with Dr. Anupam Sibal at SM Aura on August 23, 1997. In that meeting, I met a lot of parents whose child also has a liver problem. And then I first met Dr. Sibal. Through that meeting, I learned about the case of our child. And I also learned that I can be a liver donor for my child. After then, on August 26, we started planning for different fundraisings to raise funds for the liver transplantation. We sell different items like t-shirts, bear towels, candles, crinkles, and others. We also had a movie screening, golf tournaments, gave a lot of solicitation letters. We had a lot of help from our relatives, friends, office mates, and our Catholic community. On October 30, Baby RC's doctor advised us to plan the liver transplant operation by January 2018 instead of our original plan, which is April 2018, when Baby RC reached 1 year old. The doctor told us that Baby RC's condition, she might not be able to survive until April 2018. On December 11, we noticed a big lump on the side of Baby RC, and her abdomen was already bloated. She was admitted at the hospital to further check its causes and also to drain the ascites. Luckily, Dr. Nirab Goyal had a visit in Manila then, and he goes out of his way to visit and check Baby RC at the hospital where she was transmitted, she was admitted. On December 13 to 23, blessing came upon blessing. We were approved in one of the foundation that we asked for assistance. Thank you, Ms. Mahler, for helping us. And a senator paid for our plane ticket. And a Good Samaritan gave us monetary assistance, not only complete our needed funds, but also had an extra budget, which we used later to buy a 1 year supply of Baby RC's medicine. On December 26, we were able to go to New Delhi, India. And on the following day, we went to Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, New Delhi, and there we met Dr. Anupam Sibal and Dr. Smita Malhotra, the pediatrician. We also met some of our fellow Filipino who has the same purpose like us. On January 11, after a series of laboratory tests, Baby RC was admitted at Apollo Hospital. The plan of the doctors was to help her gain weight. Then they put NGT to help her with her food intake. Unfortunately, it didn't help, but instead, her tummy became bigger. Her weight then, without the fluid in her tummy, was only 3.5 kilograms. She was small, so small and skinny. On January 27, Dr. Dirab Guyal talked to us and told us that they will schedule the liver transplant on January 29, 2018. Dr. Goyal told us that baby RC is in bad shape. Other hospitals would not dare to admit her and proceed with the operation, but they will take the risk of performing the operation. And he also told us that if RC will survive the operation, the next 2 weeks will be a critical one. Little did we know, we only knew about it when we are already here in Manila. The liver team had a discussion whether they would pursue the operation of baby RC because of her condition. But Dr. Goyal took lead of taking the risk to give RC a chance to live. On January 29, we had our liver transplant operation. And by the grace of God, the operation went well. And after more than 12 hours, we were transferred in the ICU. After the operation, I stayed for a few days in the ICU, but baby RC was in the critical ICU for 2 weeks. There, actually, the doctor did not told us also that RC had a flat line twice in the critical ICU, but they took care of her. On February 14, baby RC was transferred in the liver ICU, where we were able to be with her. It was the best Valentine's gift that we received that year. On February 27, baby RC was transferred to a regular room. There we were able to take care of her ourselves. On March 6, RC was discharged from the hospital. And on April 7, 2018, after a month of follow-up checkups and monitoring, we bid goodbye to Apollo Hospital and went home to the Philippines. Baby RC welcomed her first birthday while on the plane. And on April 8, we arrived at the Philippines. We were welcomed by our family back home, and we celebrate baby RC's first birthday. At present, here is our star fighter. This is what Dr. Sibal called her. You could see how she changed from before. Here, how you can see how brave she is. We are grateful with Apollo, the nurses, the medical staff, Dr. Smita Malhotra and her team, Dr. Nirav Guyal and his team, and of course, Dr. Anubam Sibal. They took all the risks to save our child and gave her a second chance to live. We will continue to share our journey on how Apollo has helped baby RC in having the second chance in life. And we will also share how God works wonderfully in our life, especially with RC. And with that, thank you, and may God be praised.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jemsal, for sharing your candid experience. We are glad that the baby RC is doing fine now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to announce that we have Indian Ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Shambhu S. Kumaran among us. I'll request Professor Anupam Sibal to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Shambhu Kumaran. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Anupam Sibal is the Group Medical Director of Apollo Hospitals Group in India. He's the Senior Consultant for Pediatric Gastroenterology and Hepatology at Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals, New Delhi. Sir also is the President for Global Association of Physicians of Indian origin. Sir established the Division of Pediatric Gastroenterology and Hepatology, the first in the private sector in India at Apollo Hospitals, New Delhi in 1997. Sir played an instrumental role in setting up the first successful pediatric liver transplant program in India in 1998 at Apollo Hospitals, Delhi. Sir was elected as the President of Global Association of Physicians of Indian origin, popularly called as GAPIO, in January 2020, after serving as the Vice President and Secretary General in past years. Sir is also the author of the national bestseller, Is Your Child Ready to Face the World?, published by Penguin Random House in 2015. Sir, may I request you to kindly come on the dais and enlighten the gathering.
Magandang hapon. Masaya akong nakabalik sa Manila. Nung huling beses na nagpresenta ako, nakagawa na kami ang 35 liver transplant at na ngayon ay 104 na. Umasa kami na patuloy naming makuha ang iyong tiwala. Salamat. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. Nishikant, friends from the media, and of course, the families who have trusted us with the lives of their loved ones. It's a privilege to be back in Manila. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. I'm just going to sort of just walk you through what liver transplantation entails. The first transplant was attempted in 1963 but wasn't successful. And it's only in the 90s that liver transplantation became established. In India, the first successful liver transplant was performed by Apollo Hospital, Delhi in November 98. And of course, the indications now expanded include liver failure, which is chronic, acute cancer, and many other conditions. And we are able to do different types of liver transplants because the liver has 8 pieces. So we can really remove the right side, 5, 6, 7, 8 for larger children, or the smaller parts for smaller children, right lobe for the donor for the big children. And as many of you have donated, the left lobe or the left lateral lobe for the transplant. While we prefer an ABO compatible blood transplant, sometimes we do ABO incompatible as well when we do not have a donor with the same blood group. Outcomes have, of course, improved considerably over time. And this child from Tanzania was the smallest baby that we had transplanted at 3.5 kilos. And then, of course, our staff fighter, RC, who had 3.5 kilos and really made us have the confidence that we can transplant children as small as 3.5 kilos. And then, of course, we had Ellie, and you can see how small she was when she got transplanted, and such a beautiful girl now. And Eri, and the list goes on. We sometimes also do swap transplants when there is a donor with a compatible blood group in another family. Sometimes we have to do a second transplant, as in this child who needed a retransplant, and this child came to us from Jordan and then Abu Dhabi. And sometimes we have to do a transplant in 48 hours, as we did for this child that came to us from Patna, and she had liver failure, and we had to immediately ventilate her, do a transplant in 48 hours, ABO incompatible. This is her a week later. This is her 2.5 weeks later at discharge. And sometimes we have to do a combined liver and kidney transplant, as in this boy from Sudan, where one of his sisters gave a kidney, the other sister gave a half of a liver, and this is this child 2 weeks after a combined liver kidney transplant. So overall, we've now done 3,945 transplants, of which pediatric are 458. Biliary atresia, of course, is the commonest. 90% of Filipino babies have had. Since 2012, we are the busiest solid organ transplant program in the world. When we did 1,200 transplants in a year, the numbers had gone up to 1,452 pre-COVID. But even during COVID, we managed 1,200. And now we are doing about 140 to 150 solid organ transplants every single month. We've treated patients from 50 countries. Of these, children have come from 20 countries. And of course, Philippines is very, very important because we've now crossed 100. Of the 100 transplants that we performed from Philippines, girls have been 44, boys 56. Biliary atresia has been the commonest. Mothers, 65% of donors, 30% fathers, 5% other relatives. The median age has been 12 months, youngest 8 months, oldest 15 years, and the littlest has been 3.5 kilos. And this is our 100 baby Venice. This is her just after her transplant. This is her 3 days later, and this is before I took the flights, day 12 post-transplant. When we first started, the family was small, as you can see. But of course, the family has now grown. And each year we have more and more family members that join. This was a group that was stuck in India because of COVID. This child was the second child we transplanted in India in 99. Now, 22 years later, he's an accountant in Canada. And this is Sanjay, the first child we transplanted. He was 20 months old when we transplanted him in 1998. This is him a year later. This is him 3 years later. This is him 10 years later. This is him 15 years later on the cover of the Week magazine. This is when a postage stamp was issued marking 15 years of liver transplantation. He qualified as a doctor last year and now practices as a doctor in our hospital in Bangalore. Well, you've met most of us. This is the size of our liver transplant team. And I'm sure you can recognize a lot of faces of the individuals who cared for you. I want to thank all the donors. St. Francis of Assisi had said that for it is in giving that we receive, and all of you have given so generously. You have all become liver donors, and I want to thank Nina and the other foundations that have so generously supported, and they are the real angels who made liver transplantation possible. Of course, everyone in liver transplant believes in dreaming, and we hope that we can give hope to patients with liver failure. And of course, it's all about working together because alone you can do so little. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. His Excellency Mr. Shambhues Kumaran. Sir, Excellency joined the Indian Foreign Services in 1995. Excellency's diplomatic assignments abroad included postings in Frankfurt, Berlin, political counselor in Kathmandu, deputy high commissioner in South Africa. Excellency was the ambassador of India to the Kingdom of Morocco from June 2019 to July 2020. Excellency, may I request you to kindly address the gathering?
Namaste and Mabuhay, everyone. It's a very moving and touching occasion, and I want to thank Dr. Anupam Sibal and the team from Apollo Hospitals, India, for organizing this get-together and to bring all the families and the children together to celebrate a very important milestone. India and the Philippines have a very strong partnership. And what gives this partnership real strength, beyond the governmental partnership, beyond the partnership between businesses and companies, is the fact that it is driven by the people. And we in the embassy, we want to describe primarily the India-Philippines relationship as a people-driven partnership. And nowhere is it more effective than in taking care of each other's future. And the children that we see here today are the future of the Philippines. They represent an unbreakable bond of friendship between our two countries. So I wish to thank all the donors and the other funding agencies who are also supporting, and all the other actors. I remember one of the first things that I encountered when I came to the Philippines in mid-2020 during the pandemic was the challenges of how to get the kids across with all the restrictions that were there. And I'm happy to say that we managed to do that. And soon after, we organized a Diwali celebration, which we called Diwali Vanag, which was a combination of Diwali and Livanag, light a flame of friendship. And I was happy to do that with one of the kids who had undergone a liver transplant in India, because I felt that nothing represented the nobleness of human endeavor, the success of the human spirit, than in our commitment to somehow struggle with all our might to make sure that we ensure the survival of our children, the health of our children. And therefore, we are all partners in a noble journey. And I'm very delighted to confirm to you that the Embassy of India will continue to support in all possible ways this process. I want to assure all of you that India and the Philippines will remain deeply committed to building a relationship that benefits our people. And I hope that all the children who are represented here today, and 100 is a big number, it's a major milestone. We in India, we play cricket, and the real score is to score a century. If you score a century, you arrived as a batsman. So congratulations, Apollo, on 100 not out. Continuing to bat and moving ahead, wish you, all the surgeons, the supporting team at Apollo, all strength. May God bless you, and may God bless India and the Philippines. Thank you very much.
আমি তোরে সব দিয়াছি, আমি তোরে সব দিয়াছি, তুই আমারে দিলি কি?
Thank you so much, Excellency, for such kind and encouraging words. Today, our kids have prepared a real treat for every one of us. In just few moments, you will get the chance to witness our cute little models displaying some hottest fashion in town. So please welcome the kids of today displaying the fashion of tomorrow.
Yung mga mother po sa Basi Post LT, pila po doon. Magkaroon lang tayo ng fashion show po. Thank you.
The show is about to start. Everybody line up. The show is about to start. Places. The show is about to start. You have to show a look, have a look, or give a look. Faces. Beautiful. No one ugly allowed. Are you ready? Here we go. Fashion is the art, designers are the gods, models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you would ever dare to go against that beauty is a trade and everyone is paid? Fashionista, how do you look? fashionista. Fashion is the art, designers are the gods, models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you would ever dare to go against that beauty is a trade and everyone is paid? Fashionista, how do you look? Fashionista, how do you look? New York, London, Paris, Milan, Tokyo, I think it's in Japan. Asia, Malaysia, Las Vegas to play. LA, if you pay my way. What are you wearing? Who are you wearing? What are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Sean, John, Calvin Klein, Donna Karen's fashion line, Valentino, YSL, Ferragamo, and Chanel, Halston, Gucci, Fiorucci, don't forget my Pucci, Fendi and Armani, God, I miss Gianni, Kenneth Cole, Michael Kors, Mr. Ford, I can't afford, D&G and BCBG, looking good is never easy, Alexander Perkovich, Naomi Campbell, such a bitch. I wanna be Delgada to fit into my Prada. Oscar de la Renta, Louis Vuitton, imitation of Christ. Beauty has a price. What are you wearing?
Wait lang. Um, we may request His Excellency Shambhu Kumar and Dr. Anupam Sibal to please come up the stage to get a group photo with the kids. Now, we have Mr. Norman Castro family who came to Apollo Hospitals for liver transplant of their kid. They want to share their experience and how they identified Apollo and what all they underwent while their stay in India. Please welcome.
Namaste, co-parents, and our distinguished guest. Namaskar, sir. I'm not really used to stand in front, but I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Apollo Hospitals for, well, not just for us, but for all the liver transplant babies that they help give the second chance in life. Eri is a healthy newborn baby, but on her third day of life, she was diagnosed with a fatal infection. She has sepsis secondary to meningitis. She stayed there for 1 month. We did celebrate her first month in the hospital. Fast forward, on her fifth month, we noticed that her eyes are yellow, her skin, and her tummy is getting swollen. It was the first time that we consulted a pediatric gastro, and they initially diagnosed that it was biliary atresia. There was a high possibility that it was biliary atresia. We did the liver biopsy and it was confirmed. Fast forward, it was December 11, 2020 when we arrived in New Delhi, India. The very next day, Apollo didn't waste any time. We started patient donor workups right away. When the doctors saw Eri's appearance, they're worried because she is so small and severely underweight. At the age of 9 months, she only weighs 3.6 kg. Doctors advise us Eri needs to be admitted for weight management. They taught us how to feed her to the rice tube. It was supposed to be a 4-day admission. But on the 4th day, Eri had fever and her tummy suddenly got bigger. One of her leg got swollen. After several tests that was made, she was diagnosed having osteomyelitis, a bone infection, and an urgent surgery was needed. Bone debridement was performed on her right knee. After almost 2 months, the most awaited big day of our little Eri arrived. Feb 5, 2021, we thank the Lord for our successful operation for almost 19 hours and was discharged after 34 days. 34 days she stayed inside the ICU. Eri's journey as a post-transplant is not as easy as it may seem. Eri had skin grafting on her tummy. Her doctors and Apollo team are all genuinely kind. And their love, care to all the babies are priceless. Their concern does not end after the transplant. Even after going back to Philippines, they're still reachable. As her doctor said, it's just a physical distance. They're all one of our big support emotionally, physically, spiritually, while staying in India for 13 months. Doc, thank you for giving us the chance to fight for Eri. Like one of our doctors said, Eri is one of the Apollo's trophy. And Doc, the only way we can give back to you is to take care of your trophy. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Norman, for sharing your experience. That was indeed very emotional. We are glad that your child is doing fine. Now we have some dance moves to be presented by our kids. So just welcome them with a great cheer. The kids of today presenting the dance show for you.
Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear, 'cause I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, jamming, singing gummy bear. Oh, yeah. Gummy bear. Gummy bear. Fighting by dolly party, pointing by dolly party, pointing by dolly party, party pop. Pointing by dolly party, pointing by dolly party, pointing by dolly party, party pop. Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear, 'cause I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, jamming, singing gummy bear. Oh, yeah. Three times you can buy me. Three times you can buy me. Gummy bear. Gummy bear. And then my goody mousy, you might get a bella. Get in how my tea, I get party pop. And then my goody, see me call a mama chura. My baby get a money, get a party pop. Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear, 'cause I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, jamming, singing gummy bear. Oh, yeah. Party, party, dee dee dum, gummy bear. Dee dum, gummy bear, party pop. Three times you can buy me. Three times you can buy me. Gummy bear. Gummy bear.
Well, that was one wonderful performance. Now we have the family of Miss Germaine Bereses, the very first patient from Philippines who struggled their way to Apollo for treatment and paved way for other families for the process. Please welcome Ms. Jonalyn to share her experience.
Um, Good day. Hello. Good day, everyone. Let me share it. On the 23rd of September 2015, our lives turned upside down the day baby Brises came into being. She was born a jaundiced baby, and we thought of it as a typical occurrence. Not long before, we eventually learned that she was suffering from a malignant disease that we couldn't exactly decipher. I was aggravated and my entire world crumbling to pieces when I found out she needs to undergo a liver transplant. That would cost that would cost me a sky-high price of 5 million and more. Brise's health went further downhill. Every day, I wailed as I caught a glimpse of my poor young one throwing up blood and splattering it all over her frail body. I was quivering. My mind was clouded with overwhelmed train of thoughts that I couldn't grasp. That feeling of being lost and devastated all at once. My mind was struck with questions and fears, but the reason that kept me going and found my way to acceptance was our loving Almighty God. I embarked on reading the Bible from beginning to end, and then I reached enlightenment as to why I was in such precarious predicament. It served as my fortitude and wisdom, impelling me to do what needs to be done, like selling t-shirts for a cause wherever my feet, heart, and mind lead me in Metro Manila, despite coming from Laguna. Nothing excels a mother who loves her children so deeply. I know that my mind was struck with questions and fears, but the reason that kept me going on and lead my way to acceptance was the loving Almighty God. It is in Him that my sanctuary lies. Being a member of a lower socioeconomic class didn't waver me since there's no impossibility to a person with an iron determination. Brises was in and out of hospitals. We faced anticipated expenses and as a result of her multiple admissions, particularly on February 10, 2017. She vomited a volume of blood and had hypoglycemic shock. I was on the brink of losing my mind, petrified. But God is great. I place Him in the center of my heart amidst the fears and worries and still song of praise because I believe in Him. I am assured that He would save me, that He would save her no matter what happened. On that particular day, in February 2017, the money I had accumulated was reduced to half due to her tedious admissions from January 2 to February 2017. But I have faith that if I do everything, God will shower His blessings through other people as His instrument to make it done. In the following week, I got all I needed, such a passport, visa, and foundation. We made it. It seems like magic was fading our way. In barely a week, I was able to raise 1 million in short period of time. March 26, 2017, we took a flight to India, reaching Hong Kong. While sitting on the plane that would take us to New Delhi, the flight steward noticed that Brises was jaundiced, prompting her to request for a document that would state that she was fit to travel. From our doctor, sadly, their captain refused to take us and then escorted us off the plane. In the face of all that, I believe that God will make a way for us. I stayed resilient, and thanks to God, He never failed us. We received accommodation from the airport staff, bringing us to New Delhi. We were immediately admitted to Apollo Hospitals, had series of test procedures, then we were given Brise's surgical schedule. On the 10th of April at 2 a.m., Brises spewed blood. I couldn't bear seeing mouth look like an open faucet of blood. She'd lost a lot of blood and her vitals has dropped to 50-30. Nonetheless, she was still able to cry loudly. Apollo did everything for her and made her stable. At the same time, they performed the emergency transplant to avoid the possibility of it happening again. On April 11, 2017, her transplant was completed. Her recovery wasn't that smooth, but through the grace of God, she made it after 26 days of admission. From that day onward, I made a vow to God to help parents alike who were plagued with such trials. I shall begin assisting those babies in the same plight. Then I came to realize the reason why Brises had a liver transplant at such young age, it's because God wished to open doors for countless babies suffering from a liver disease. Apollo came to give hope on these trials, all of your stories, each and every one of us here today. Now, together with the other co-post LT parents, I'm leading my own support group under my precious warrior name, Brises Liver to Hold, with the purpose of saving one liver at a time. We provide step-by-step guidance to the future patients and family moral support to each member. We are hoping that someday we will be able to grow into a large NGO that will make a significant difference in the lives of every Filipino families. Thanks to Apollo Hospitals for offering a service beyond cure. What helped me greatly in this advocacy is my personal experience with hospitality. They waive a huge portion of our bills for the transplant. Apollo charged us an exact amount, even though for sure will incur additional charges. From doctors down to IPL staff, they were very kind and generous. Forever grateful for your help, not just for the life of my baby, but for all the Filipino babies. I would like to thank First Hand Foundation from US, the Build Foundation of Germany through Ms. Nina Mahler. We were able to make the required funds very manageable. Today and going forward, even the poorest of the poor can make it because of the help of these two foundations. It was definitely a pleasure to be part of Apollo, completing more than 100 transplants. In this story, God, God's purpose was realized clearly. With perseverance, determination, and faith to the Most High God, nothing is impossible. I hope and pray that you will continue to support us as we move forward on helping more families in the future. All of this praise and glory belongs to God alone. Thank you for everyone who participate today with the celebration and to all the parents who did a great job for saving the lives of of their kids, to all my BL2H colleagues who help us assist to make this event possible. It's been a pleasure being with you, all of us today. Thank you. Can you please, pasuot na yung mga t-shirts nila, then we'll have a group picture wearing Apollo t-shirts dun sa mga bata.
all of you please put on the t-shirts and come on the stage.
Baka daw may gustong bumili ng books ni Doc Sival. 200 pesos sa labas meron sa desk.